By Kit Kat alongside our producer Chris Benetti, our wonderful director Joy Huber, our research guru Mark Matcham, and our entire awesome high heat crew. I am your host Alana Rizzo. Chris Russo, of course, is on ESPN's First Take. He will be back tomorrow as well as Friday. A massively packed show today. We're excited to get to it. Byron Buxton, remember him? 2012 overall second pick in the draft in that year. Of course, made his debut in 2015. Still making unbelievable catches in the outfield. That's why he has the Chevrolet Electric Play of the Week. He joins us talking about that and his career so far and what the Twins need to do to get things going offensively. Jeremy Affeldt is here, of course, one of the most accomplished postseason relievers in the game, talking about the Giants season so far and who he thinks is his most dependable reliever at this moment. Oral Hershiser, the Bulldog, is on the program talking not only about the Dodgers, but also about the unbelievable art collection he just purchased, including the famous painting by the name of Grace with Jackie Robinson and Martin Luther King sitting around the table, of course, civil rights activists back in the day. And Steve Phillips, as always, is here on this Wednesday talking things all around the league in this great sport. And in fact, he joins us now. And Steve, the most recent call-up in Major League Baseball, you certainly have a personal attachment to Mr. Leiter. Tell me more.
Yeah, Jack Leiter getting called to the Major Leagues. Going to make the start on Thursday for the Rangers. Al Leiter's son, our friend at MLB Network, one of my former players, one of my favorite players of all time. Al always jokes that I made him a rich man, so I'm his favorite general manager of all time. I'll take it. But I remember when Jack Leiter was born. He's the age of my boys, and I remember when he was born, and then over time, following his progress through high school at Vanderbilt, getting drafted. And what I love the most about this, look, first round pick. It didn't go great for him right out of the gate in professional baseball. He had some struggles. He had to learn. And talking to Al, it was such a great learning experience. And what I like is this isn't a top prospect that's faded away. He's learned. He's made adjustments. He's adapted and adjusted. He's a real pitcher. And I'm really looking forward to him making the start for Bruce Bochy and the Texas Rangers on Thursday. It feels personal to me just because I've got such love for Lori and Al Leiter, the whole family. And this is just going to be so exciting for all of us at MLB Network.
Now, it's awesome to see not a lefty like his dad, but certainly great stuff on the hill. Congratulations to the entire Leiter family. A guy or a team, I should say, that could use Jack Leiter, Steve, is the Chicago White Sox. They might be competing for the worst record in the major leagues as far as a franchise is concerned. Now, in their defense, injuries have destroyed this team, but they can't use that as an excuse. This is a depleted roster. What's the plan?
Yeah, this is a tough one. I mean, you think of Chris Getz is a Michigan guy. Pedro Gaffol is a guy that I know well. He played in the Mets organization at one point. But they do have a chance maybe to set a record for the worst record ever in baseball, beating the original Mets back in the day. And so they're so undermanned right now. And so the goal this year has to be find some answers, right? Who's part of the problem? Who's part of the solution? And let young players grow at the major league level. I mean, the reality is it's probably going to get worse because at the trade deadline, if Eloy Jimenez comes back healthy, can stay healthy, he might get traded. I mean, Luis Robert might get traded. Andrew Vaughn might get traded. If teams have interest, they've got to rebuild. They've got to go through that whole process all over again, bringing in young players. And remember, unfortunately for them, the rules have changed. The worst record in baseball doesn't necessarily get the first draft pick next year. And so they're going to have to really do a job with developing. They need Oscar Colas to become an answer in the outfield for them. They need some of these young players, Colson Montgomery, to become an answer at shortstop for the future of the organization, or it's going to be a long time for this rebuild. And it's sort of heartbreaking. It's a really good franchise with great history there, but they are really struggling right now. And the injuries have compounded that and made it look even worse.
And they need Andrew Benintendi to live up to that contract, although it's certainly not Andrew Benintendi's fault by himself. The entire team is struggling. Christian Yelich, Steve, with the back injury, not what the Brewers needed. How do you think this impacts them?
This is huge. I mean, this is a team that doesn't have the same pitching that they used to have. So offense is going to be a big part of the way they're going to win. They're going to have to score more than they've done in the past. Rhys Hoskins, part of that. Some of the young players, Jackson Chourio, what he's meant to this team. For Willie Adames, he's going to have to step up. For Yelich, he's the leader. He's the glue. He's the guts of this team. And this year, the power numbers were coming back for him. You know, he's been a good hitter over the last couple of years, not the guy we saw from a potential MVP season a couple of years ago when he injured his leg, and he never really had gotten back. But back injuries are scary. Everything you do in baseball is about rotation. In the outfield, when you've got to make a break on the ball to your right or to your left. When you throw the ball, you've got to step and throw and rotate your body. When you swing, when you're running the bases, all of that. And so a back issue can really be something that if you don't knock it out, if you don't take your time and really help him heal, take the time to heal, it's going to come back on him. And he is so critical to this team. So they really can't afford to lose him right now, but they can't afford to rush him back either, because if it becomes catastrophic, if he misses months at a time, then this is a devastating blow to this team, because he is so important to their offense. That's a big part of their chances to win this year.
It does seem that the Brewers go as Christian Yelich goes, and he was off to such a good start. That's a big blow for them. As you mentioned, a team, Steve, that was not off to a good start, the New York Mets, but they've changed it around a bit. They've won 9 of 12, including 4 straight. Is it enough for you to believe?
Boy, I tell you, a lot depends on the guy who's not playing right now. That's Kodai Senga. He's throwing now up to 120 feet. They're trying to get him back onto the mound. If he can come back, then I think the Mets are a fringe team to potentially compete for the wild card. I give them a ton of credit. You know, new manager Carlos Mendoza, they lose their first 5 games. Everybody's panicked in New York, and then they slowly start to turn it around. Pete Alonso hit some home runs. The offense is starting to be there. Jose Budo in the rotation has done a nice job. Now, I don't believe they have enough pitching right now to get through. That's why Senga becomes that much more important. They have an excellent bullpen, and that bullpen's important because you can hold the lead and hold the deficit. But they need Francisco Lindor to get going. It still has been such a struggle for him to start this season. He's been a slow starter in the past, but he has to get going, because like we talked about Christian Yelich, I love Pete Alonso. The Mets really go offensively when Lindor goes. 30-30 guy last year. They need him to get back on track again if they're going to sustain the success. Now, the good news is they played pretty well over the last 12 games, and they haven't had Lindor. So, you know, you think if he comes back, it might be the boost they need to keep it going. So I think they're a fringy playoff team, but only if Senga comes back.
I mean, the fact that you're even talking about them as a fringy playoff team is amazing, considering the start that they had. People were already writing them off as not even being a postseason team this year. Jared Jones of the Pirates, Steve, why is he so impressive?
Oh my gosh, this kid, I know we're talking about Paul Skeens, and he's going to be great. This is what really has got me excited about the Pirates moving forward. This young man has electric stuff. I mean, he's 96, 97 with his fastball. You see the wipe away slider there. Just a devastating breaking pitch, making good hitters look bad. And that's not an easy thing to do. Plus, he's got poise. He's got competitiveness. Had a chance to interview him on the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio. And he's a really interesting, fun, young guy. I really like him. And so you think about Mitch Keller and with Jared Jones and with Paul Skeens, and you start thinking, okay, Martin Perez, Marco Gonzalez, some of the other veterans there that maybe move to the back end. But Jared Jones is really a dynamic and top-flight young pitching prospect. You got to check him out next time he pitches.
Yeah, it's been 10 years since a guy had 7 or more strikeouts in his first 4 starts, so he's definitely something to watch. Ranger Suarez has more experience than Jones, but I tell you what, he just shut out. He throws a shutout. Do the Phillies have the best rotation, Steve, in the National League East now that Spencer Strider is out for the year?
I tell you, you could certainly look at it that way. I do. I think they've got the best rotation now. But Christopher Sanchez has made a big step forward this year, too. Another left-hander in that rotation. But for Ranger Suarez, throwing over 100 pitches. Remember, he's not throwing 160 innings in any season yet in his career. But he now is healthy. He had an entire spring training, got his visa stuff organized, so he was there early and ready to go in camp. And throwing strikes is so critical. JT Realmuto talked about it after the game yesterday. When he works ahead in the count, he's got wipe-away breaking pitches. But when he gets himself behind in the count, he's got to throw a fastball in the fastball count. He gets in trouble. But he really looks like another ace in that rotation. You think about Wheeler and Nola's really good start last time out. And then obviously with Suarez, Christopher Sanchez making the big step forward. they really are setting up right now with a dynamic rotation, the best in the East right now without Strider there. And, as these other guys progress, Taijuan Walker potentially coming back at some point, Spencer Turnbull's done a nice job. They could make a case at some point maybe for the best rotation in the National League.
I love shutouts. It just doesn't happen anymore. Guys just don't they're not allowed to go the distance. When you see a guy throw a shutout or a complete game, it almost feels like it's a perfect game because it never happens anymore. All right, the Blue Jays get Romano and Swanson back. Steve, where does their bullpen rank when fully healthy?
Yeah, they got a really good bullpen. I mean, Jimmy Garcia's done a nice job in the back there, filling in for those guys. Trevor Richards is a swing and miss right-hander. You get righties and lefties out there. Genesis Cabrera from the left side with Meza from the left side. So they've got balance. They've got depth and balance. And remember, a good bullpen doesn't just hold the lead. It also holds the deficit to be able to allow the offense to come back and put up some runs. And they're going to need that sometimes because this offense takes some time during the course of a game. They don't easily make adjustments during a game. So if they fall behind early, they've got to do a good job. Now, the other thing that's been really good for Toronto in getting Swanson and Romano back is the starting pitching is now coming into form. Jose Barrios has been terrific. Yusei Kikuchi had a really good outing yesterday against the Yankees. Chris Bassett looks like himself after 3 poor starts to start the season. Now if Kevin Gausman can get on track with this bullpen in place, maybe they can get back to where they were because they're not going to outscore and outslug anybody. They just don't have that sort of consistent link to their lineup. But with the pitching there, now the key thing, though, is Swanson and Romano did not pitch all that well on their rehab starts. Romano walked a few guys while he was down there. Swanson was giving up some hits. So Romano ended up getting in the game yesterday, ends up giving up a run, gets a save. But they need some reps to get back into it and get a rhythm. And hopefully if they lock in, everything else falls into place for Toronto.
Lock in and stay healthy. That is the key. If you can make it through with some health, that's a good benefit. Steve Phillips, as always, we appreciate the insight.
Thanks, Alana.
Coming up here, we want you to get involved. Join the conversation. Who is the most dependable reliever in the game right now? Game on the line? Who do you want? Let us know. Maybe you'll be featured. Jeremy Athvelt knows a thing or two about the game on the line, one of the best postseason pitchers in the game, where he's going to be on the show too. And hopefully Pete Alonso, the National League Player of the Week, joining us on the show as well. But National League Player of the Week, something has seemed to turn the tide at the plate for Pete Alonso. Joining us now on the NTT Ballpark Cam. And Pete, thanks so much for taking the time to be with us today. What do you think has been the key for your success the last week offensively?
Honestly, just capitalizing on pitches in the zone, and when pitchers throw it in my go area, I'm just really happy that I've been putting good swings on it and recognizing the pitch for what it is.
You know, it's funny, though, that they say when you're in the zone, because I tell you what, do you feel differently when it just seems like perhaps the baseball is the size of a beach ball?
Honestly, it's just it's just really just been a nice, relaxed effort level, and I've just been nice and relaxed in the box and just letting the game come to me.
How important is that, to be relaxed, to let the game come to you, to slow things down?
For me, it's really important because if I try and force something or do too much, then it doesn't necessarily go too well for me. I mean, yeah, once in a blue moon it'll go all right, but I think for me, the more relaxed and the more I allow the game to come to me, I think that's when I'm at my best.
4 home runs, 7 stakes in the last 7 games. That's why you're the National League Player of the Week, brought to you by Chevrolet. And I love the initiative that the Alonso Foundation has this year, Pete. As somebody that has a nonprofit rescue organization that benefits animals, I'm so grateful to you. Why did you want to give $1,000 for every home run hit to local shelters in your area?
So this past off season, we fostered a dog, and we just, my wife and I, we just absolutely loved it. But before, we wanted to do something in that space, but we didn't really realize how much went into it, whether it's making sure that the spaying and neuter is taken care of, obviously the transport, doctor checkups, and the whole bit, making sure that the animal is healthy when you give him or her off to their forever family. So there was a lot that really went into it, and that whole experience fostering and it was just so special. Lucy's her name, and she has a great home, and it's just it's such a heartwarming experience. And people who want to get more into it, please feel free to open your hearts and homes to fostering an animal. It's really special, and it just leaves such a tremendous positive impact.
Oh my gosh, it's incredibly rewarding, and I'm so grateful to what you guys are doing for that. So let's keep hitting home runs, shall we? You're 2 away from milestone number 200. You'd be the 5th fastest to do it as far as the amount of games played. What does that type of milestone mean to you?
I got to get there first. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice round number, and it's really exciting. So I just want to keep progressing and just keep making good swings on good pitches.
All right, let's brag on your team a little bit, Pete, because at the beginning of the season, people were ready to write off the New York Mets. This team is terrible. They're not going anywhere. Now look at what you guys have done. You've won 9 of your last 12 games. You've won 4 straight. What's been the biggest turnaround?
Well, I just think that we just have a bunch of high character and highly motivated guys in the clubhouse. I mean, we have talent, but we've just been playing together as a whole unit just so well over the past couple weeks. It's just been really, really nice to be able to find that rhythm, find that groove, and it's been really nice. Hopefully we can get another one today.
How important is it to get Senga back?
I mean, he's nasty. I mean, he's got one of the most incredible pitches. I mean, in the Ghost Fork. I mean, he's such a poised starter. He's obviously super talented, but it's going to be really exciting for when we get Senga back.
All right, Luis Severino on the hill for the Mets tonight. What have you enjoyed about watching him and playing alongside him?
I mean, he's a dog. He goes out there and competes. I mean, he's got electric stuff, but I just love the way he competes. He fields his position super well, and he executes in big moments. So I'm really excited that he's got the ball for us today.
All right, crisp and clean. The Mets have not made a lot of errors. That's been key to the success that you guys have had as of late. How much of an emphasis has good defense been for you guys, even if offensively things aren't always going your way?
I mean, defensively, goes into what I said earlier about us playing together as a unit. I think taking care of the baseball is really huge, and not giving away free bases or free runs. So I think for us, we just need to keep continuing to play as a unit, keep playing well together on both sides of the ball, and if we can do that over the course of the rest of the season, I think we'll be in a really good spot.
Yeah, you guys have really cleaned that up. Is it fair to say that we needed to give Carlos Mendoza a chance? I mean, we were all ready to perhaps write him off at the poor start, but it's not very fair to do that when we're only, 2.5 weeks into the season.
Well, Mendy's been awesome. Even right off the rip from camp, he's been calm, cool, collected, and he's had just a great amount of expectations for us, like individually, day to day, and he's a great communicator, and like he's handled everything so well. And I mean, he's been awesome at the reins so far, and I can't wait to see how the season unfolds for all of us. He's been doing amazing so far, and it's been great playing for him.
All right. I want you to get David Stearns on the phone for me, and I want David to sign you to a long-term deal. I want you to retire as a Met. I think you're wonderful for that franchise. I think you're great for the community. Best of luck the rest of the way, Pete. We appreciate your time so much. Thanks for all you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. Right on. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for the time.
All right, you as well. Pete Alonso, electric play of the week, courtesy of Byron Buxton, who joins us now from the NTT ballpark cam. And Byron, that was such an awesome play. I jumped off of my couch when I saw that, just kind of a Superman-esque. Tell me what's going through your mind as an outfielder when you see Teoscar Hernandez hit that ball. You got to make sure you're running the right route, but take me through that play.
Yeah, it was kind of a tough play. I was shaded a little bit over towards right field side, so the biggest thing was getting a good jump and making sure that first step was there. And after that, it's just kind of make sure your angles are right. Obviously, I'm not thinking about this as I'm running, but it's just one of those things where your instincts kind of kick in and you just let it take over.
How much is it instinctual and how much is it just pure athletic ability?
I would say half and half. I go out and you can't practice that, but you can go out and, practice your first steps, practice how to, make yourself better and move better in the outfield. And I think that plays a big part into, getting to that ball, because otherwise it's been a while since I've been in the outfield.
Yeah, that was one of my questions too, because last year, Byron, you were the DH because you weren't playing out in the outfield. So how important is it for you to be able to get out there in the outfield and make those types of game-saving plays?
It's big. Outfield separates me from, what I'm doing at the plate, especially if I'm having, not the time that I want at the plate. So it gives me the opportunity to go out there and still contribute to the team and try to help us win in any possible way that I can.
So you robbed Teoscar Hernandez on Monday night, the 8th. Then last night in the 6th inning, you robbed Ryan O'Hearn of a base hit. He tips his cap to you. Take me through that play. Which one of the two was more difficult?
Last night's for sure. Just to the point of I was dealing with the wall and the angle of the, where the 410 sign was. And for me, it's all about staying focused and making sure I make that catch. I know I'm going to take a hit at the end of the day, so if you're going to take a hit, you might as well make it out with it. So it was all about focus there.
It's funny that you say that, because I'm thinking, okay, I feel the warning track dirt under my cleats. I know the wall is coming. I'm going to have to sacrifice my body. How much are you thinking about that wall in your head?
Not much. In the past, I didn't think about it at all, so I think I done got a little bit better with figuring out how not to slam into the wall and act like I'm Superman all the time, and be a little bit more careful and make sure that I stay on the field.
I know that you can appreciate the work that Cedric Mullins is doing in the outfield too. When I first saw that diving catch from Mullins, I was like, oh my God, that might be the play of the year. How much can you appreciate his athletic ability out there?
It's incredible. Still don't know how he made that catch. From one outfield to another, that was it's pretty incredible to watch from the other side. Obviously, you don't want him to catch that, but to be able to make that type of play and be in person to watch it is it's incredible. It was a great play.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You guys both have competing catches on opposite ends of the game in that one. All right, you had mentioned that it was so important for you, Byron, to be able to get back in the outfield and make those types of plays, because right now you guys are not hitting collectively as a team. I know that you have some big guns on the IL, but how do we get things going offensively for Minnesota?
Just got to bear down to those, tough situations with runner in scoring position, put the ball in play, and good things will happen. We ain't been lucky lately, but still got to go out there and compete and do those little things. And once you do those little things, the big things start to happen. So just got to keep going and keep grinding, and things will change.
And as I mentioned, you guys have some big guns on the IL. Carlos Correa, obviously Royce Lewis, Max Kepler currently on the injured list. And you know Correa really well, a teammate now, but back in that 2012 draft, you were the second overall pick behind your current teammate, Carlos Correa. What's it been like just kind of playing alongside of him?
It's incredible. He's so smart with the way the game is now, so it's more about picking his brain day in and day out and just trying to make yourself a little bit better. Obviously he done been to the World Series and a lot of playoffs, so he got a lot of knowledge on, how to get there and keep us there. So it's all about us keeping that chemistry and bond together, communicating, and figuring this out together.
You guys are playing, of course, at Camden Yards today. It is the third game of a 3-game set there against the Orioles. I want you to take me through the triple last night, because it seems like you kind of put in another gear, and it was like a gazelle running out there when you're like, you know what, I might be able to get 3 bags on this. Take me through that at bat.
Out the box, I'm always thinking triple. Doubles they're not guaranteed, but if you get out the box like you're supposed to, that double is already there. So for me, it's all about thinking triple out the box. And, I got the second so quick and he didn't have the ball still rumbling around. And, kind of a read for me there to take the next 90 feet to make it easier for the next guy.
Do you really like playing at Camden Yards? Because you have a heck of an on-base streak there.
Yeah, it's a fun spot to play in. It's a good stadium. I see the ball pretty well here.
Okay. Jackie Robinson Day on Monday, of course, April 15th. Jackie breaking the color barrier 77 years ago, and you had some pretty sick cleats to honor the life and legacy of the great late Jackie Robinson. Tell me more about these. How did these come about? Because they're awesome looking cleats.
I know guys at Stadium Kicks, and we communicate on cleats all year long, and they asked me, did I want to do a Jackie Robinson Day tribute, and I told them yeah, and they just kind of did up the concept for me and delivered them to me on Monday, and couldn't ask for anything better, especially tributing to Jackie Robinson and the color barrier.
What does he mean to you, Byron?
It means a lot. Obviously, without him doing the things that he did, I wouldn't be standing here. So each and every day for me is going out there and not taking a day for granted. Make sure that you enjoy and just live up to playing this game, because you can't play it forever, and I don't want to leave here with regrets.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that you're already in your 10th Major League Baseball season. I remember we were talking off camera when I interviewed you back in 2012 before you were drafted. Can you believe you've been in the league this long, and how do you think your game has changed since that day?
I've been blessed. But still not. You don't get used to being in the league, because every day is not given. So for me, it's like I said, don't come out here and take a day for granted, because any given day that uniform can be stripped. So to have this many years in the league it's a milestone that I didn't think I was going to get to in life. So it's something that I cherish a lot.
Byron, if you keep making plays like that in the outfield, I think it's going to be a long time before they strip that jersey from you. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. Best of luck today against the Orioles, and continued success and health to you. That is right. .86. There's not even a 1 in front of that. You can see the career notes there from Affeldt, of course. Over the course of his career, a 3.97 ERA in terms of that. But we always think about him in the postseason with the San Francisco Giants. And Jeremy Affeldt joining me now. And you played for 4 different teams. But when I think of Affeldt, I think of San Francisco. And now apparently there's a new core 4. You are being inducted with 3 of your teammates into basically the Giants Wall of Fame. Tell me more about this. Congratulations on that honor.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, I didn't think it was ever going to happen. Usually when you're looking at Wall of Fame, you got to be a starter or some guy hits 60 homers a year, But when they called us, Larry called me a couple months ago and said, you know what, we're going to put all 4 of you in. I didn't think it was, when he said it, it meant a lot. I was actually like really, really, really excited, and I kind of teared up, because it's something that we did a lot to get this to do what we did in San Francisco, and we took care of each other, and we went through a lot of stress, a lot of 2-1 ball games. But for me, it was just something. That's probably the greatest honor that you could give us. We're not going to be Hall of Famers. We're just not. It just isn't going to happen. So to the 4 of us to all go in, I wouldn't want it any other way. I wouldn't want to go in by myself, and I don't think any of the other guys would want to go in by themselves, because we were a true unit out there, and we're really excited about it.
And that's happening on July 19th, or excuse me, July 13th at Oracle Park. Jeremy Affeldt, Santiago Castilla, Javier Lopez, and Sergio Romo, the new core 4, being inducted together, which is awesome. All right, Jeremy, tell me your assessment so far of this 2024 San Francisco Giants team.
Well, I mean, they're a 500 ball club, but it is what it is. They got the offense. I just don't. The pitching is still in flux, and I get that. Snell's coming off of a late sign. I just don't think he's quite ready yet. I think he's just trying to get ready in the major leagues, not in spring training. You're seeing that a little bit with his command, but they do have offense that can take care of a pitching staff. It's just their pitching isn't really locked in. Their bullpen's been hit and miss, and when you're a hit and miss bullpen and you got a little bit of a rotation issue with offense, you're going to be a 500 club, and that's just what they are.
I have a question on social media asking people who they think is the most dynamic reliever right now, the most dependable guy. 3 outs to go in the 9th inning. Who's your pick?
Oh man, to get 3 solid outs. I mean, there's a man. You do. I would have said Dotel. I would have said the Giants guy. He's had a little bit of an issue lately and stuff like that. But that's a hard decision for me. You put me on the spot on that one a little bit. Be honest, it's a tough call. I have not seen, for me, I have not really been, overwhelmed by the closers this year yet. There are guys that are shut the door guys, but I just don't know if there's that guy that's really standing out for me where it's like you put him in it is it's over. You know, you don't have, Jansen was like that with the Dodgers for a long time. You put him in, it was over. Mariano Rivera, it was over. You know, like those guys, they were just so super powerful guys. And I'm not really sure if there is that guy standing out for me at this time. And I think it's just because you're getting a lot of these closers that are signing deals with teams now, and they're a 7th, 8th inning guy. They'll get 3 closers. So they can't get definitive roles. And I think that's what you're starting to see a lot of. So for me, I'm not seeing anybody really jump out for me necessarily, but I mean, I'm hoping by the end of the season that'll change, but it's early for me to know that.
Yeah. I completely agree. I agree with that assessment. The role of the closer is very different today than it was even back when you played. Of course, I appreciate your time as always, Jeremy. Congratulations on getting into that Wall of Fame, Hall of Fame for the San Francisco Giants. Well earned.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it.